Awesome. Thanks, Coach, for joining us. Who would like to get us started off with questions? Jared, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Hi, Jared.
What did you feel like you learned from last week?
Well, I learned that Baylor's a really good team. It's a good football team. That's by far the most efficient and complete team that we've played this year. They were good, and we did a lot of good things. We were really explosive on offense in a lot of areas of the game. So sort of found out some things about that, but also had some critical errors that were tough to overcome, and particularly we got sacked in the first half. We got sacked. It wasn't a sack. It was a quarterback draw with an RPO. It looked like a sack on a pass play that made a field goal more difficult. We lost some yards and missed the field goal, and that was an unfortunate play because we were actually playing for a fourth down on that. It was I think 3rd and 7, and we called the draw play with the RPO, thinking if we complete the RPO, we're going to get a first down. If we run the draw, we might make a first down, but at least put ourselves in position to go for it on 4th. And we didn't execute the play well enough and actually lost some yards. And so that was a really unfortunate play. It cost us points probably. You never know for sure if we make the field goal, but it would have been an easier field goal or perhaps a first down with a chance to keep going. And then the sack fumble was a really unfortunate play as well. Just wasn't even a blitz. We just didn't execute on that as well. And we're right there in scoring range with a chance to either kick a field goal if we don't convert or new set of downs in the red zone. And instead we turned the ball over and they end up getting points. So those two plays have been haunting me all week. And so we learned something on those two plays. And then we also learned that we can really throw the ball down the field when we need to. And I don't think anybody's thrown the ball on that defense like that in a couple of years.
As you're talking about that, I was curious about, as you look at the run-pass balance, you use the run to set up the pass, sometimes you use the pass to set up the run. How do you kind of evaluate that? And is it different for each game depending on what defenses are going to try and do against you?
Yeah, Saturday, it was tough sledding early in the game. We knew it was going to be hard to run the ball. It's been tough to run against them. We had a couple of O-linemen out, so we knew. Plus Mason Wake is, he was back, but he wasn't close to 100%, and he's practically our 6th O-lineman. And so we knew it was going to be difficult to run. It turned out to be a little more difficult than we had hoped. And then, but then the way the game was going, we were playing from behind and we'd score and then they would answer. And so it was kind of like, not a great situation to spend a lot of snaps solving our run game problems. Like we had some games earlier this year where a good portion of the 3rd and 4th quarter was running the football and us finding some answers. And the Utah State game comes to mind, the Utah game, the Arizona State game. Those were games where we ran the heck out of the ball in the 4th quarter. And a good portion of the 3rd quarter was figuring out some things that it takes a few snaps or maybe a couple of series of, hey, they're doing this. Okay, what's our adjustment to that? This game, there wasn't enough snaps to do that, and we were playing from behind, so we had to throw. So I think we could have figured out the run game. Had we had a little bit different circumstances, I think we would have been able to get it going. But the game didn't call for that. We had to throw, and I thought we threw it well. And we just, like I said, those two critical plays I mentioned, really, to me, offensively, the game hinged on those two plays. We make those two plays, it's a very, very different game.
Jake and then Norma.
Yeah, Aaron, this week a little bit of a unique, circumstance, we'll call it, with the coaching staff up there at Washington State seeing about half of their coaches dismissed. What is kind of the overall sentiment from you guys looking ahead to this one?
Well, the thing we've been talking to our team about is that we played 2 of our best games last year with close to half our coaching staff not even on the trip. I don't know if I'm like breaking news right now, or if people were aware of that, but the Boise State game last year, we were missing a good number of coaches, and the Central Florida game, we were missing pretty much our whole offensive staff almost was not there. So we've Coach Lamb in particular reminded our whole team of that we played great without coaches last year. It's a player's game. It's a player's game, and these guys are going to be highly motivated and ready to play. They've got a veteran QB who you can tell that guy's a great leader. Our coaching staff, we all know that kid from recruiting. He's an awesome leader. They're going to be ready to play, and I don't think the coaching situation really has an impact on the game at all.
You kind of mentioned your offensive line. We had the 2 freshmen on the right side.
Yeah.
Is there hope that you get some of those guys back this week, some of the guys like LeChance and Tukuafu, or is it too early to tell?
Joe's back. He's back for sure. Harris, there's still a chance. He's doing a little more each day. Not sure if he's going to be ready to play in the game or not, but he's out there. He's practicing, which last week he wasn't even practicing. So there's a chance there, but Joe's back. And and I didn't mean to make it sound like it was those guys' fault, but it when you get 2 young players in an environment like that, it was loud. That was a very good defense, and it just presented some challenges for us. We had to work through some things for sure.
Norma, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. So you kind of touched on it a little bit, but hopefully you can expand. So at the start of the season, you guys kind of lacked those explosive plays and kind of slow to start offensively. You guys seem to have fixed those issues, but now the struggles to sustain drives and to establish the run. So I guess how do you go from fixing one problem and then like having to fix another, and just the way the season rolls out and how these issues always come about through different ways?
Yeah. Well, we've only had one game where we weren't able to run the ball, and that was Saturday. We've run the ball well in every other game. It's always been a strength of ours, and it will be again. So I'm not expecting to have those types of issues running the ball again. And the explosive plays have picked up a lot, and we just need. I think we scored 24 points Saturday with only 55 snaps. In a normal game for us, we've been averaging about 75 snaps a game the last couple of years. So if we get back up there around 75 snaps, we're going to be somewhere 35 to 40 points, and that's the goal. So we're working on that, but yeah, we are improving every week in the passing game. Jaron Hall is playing really, really well. Was really happy with him throwing the ball down the field, made great decisions, was very accurate, and he's super aggressive at finding his guys down the field, and we've obviously got some guys that can go get it.
Sean and then Mitch.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, Coach, this is probably a really similar question, so you can maybe just say ditto to that last response. But how much pride does this team take in being able to play physical football and kind of be the more physical team as it were? And are there things that you can do kind of midweek in between games and practice and stuff to sort of rekindle a physical brand of football if you feel like you've fallen off at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's just in how you practice and your approach that you take every day. I mean, we are a physical team. We've already proven that in our 5 wins this year, and in the last 2 games that we lost, I didn't feel like we didn't play physical on offense. The Baylor game in particular, that was a really tough defense. And like I said, the circumstances of the game, the way the game was going required for us to throw it more. And so, we didn't have, like I said earlier, we didn't have that grace period of, hey, let's this next series, let's establish the run and let's figure out some things in the run game. I mean, the clock was bleeding away from us pretty quickly, and we were down by, sometimes 1 score, sometimes 2 scores. At a couple points, it was 3 scores. Like we couldn't just sit there and work through our run game issues. We had to throw. And so I still, you play that game over again, I think we could go back and run that game. We could play that game over again and run the ball well. It just, every game is different. And so I expect us to play with a lot of physicality, and I expect Tyler Algier to run hard on Saturday, and Peeny as well, and we'll be. I expect us to be right back to our old selves. It was a one-game hiccup.
Coach, as with Jaron Hall, it's pretty remarkable to think that he's in his fourth year, yet he's still only got 7 starts, pretty young in terms of being a starting quarterback. As the weeks go by and with him getting more snaps under his belt, what do you feel is emerging as maybe some of the best traits of Jaron now that you're getting more film on him in actual games?
Just how smart he is as a player. He takes great care of the football. He makes great decisions. He's obviously very talented. He's got physical tools that most players don't have. But it's his decision making, the way he takes care of the football. He's really an accurate thrower, very efficient throwing motion. I mean, I could go on and on. I don't know if this is how much this has been researched, but he's playing at a really high level for a guy who has played 5 complete games. You said 7 starts, whatever it is, but he's up there right now with some of the best that have played here in that amount of time. And we're seeing growth every game. Like, he's getting better every game, and he's nowhere near his ceiling. I expect him to keep getting better every week. And and I don't mean that doesn't necessarily mean passing yards or anything like that. I just think you're going to keep seeing him grow as a player and do more good things, more efficiency, more big plays. Just, you're going to see him lead our team better each game the more he gets to play. And he hasn't arrived or anything like that, but he's playing at a really high level, and we're lucky we have him.
What are some of those metrics that you guys have tracked that put him among some of the best in BYU through 5 starts?
Well, just his efficiency. I mean, Saturday we're 71% completions at 11 yards per attempt. I mean, 11 yards per attempt is a lot, and so you're throwing a lot of completions and getting a lot out of those completions, a lot of yardage, and moving the team. There's a lot of big plays, and you make the more big plays you make, the easier it is to score. And he's making big plays and really driving the ball down the field well for us. And then his ability to run is just game changer. I had a defensive coordinator from a team that we played this year call me last week, and not going to say who it is, but we had a conversation about it. He just said, man, it's so scary just knowing that at any moment he can pull the ball and go. And he just said it put him on edge the whole game, trying to call the game against us. And so that's another part of it. I think that you add that into his ability to throw the ball down the field, and we've got a good thing going. We just got to keep building on it and go get a win this week.
I wanted to ask you one more question. BYU's actually never been to Pullman, oddly enough. It's the only Pac-12 program that BYU's never played at. You've had a few experiences. What's the Palouse like from your memories?
It's a tough place to play. Every time I've ever been there, the weather was bad. It's rained every time except once. It was snowed the whole game. John White had a great game running the ball, and it was snowing, and we just but they got great fans. Their fans are hostile in a good way, like the way you would want your home fans to be. They get after the opposing team. And it's not a huge stadium, but it's loud. I remember crowd noise is definitely a factor there. And watching the Stanford game, I watched the TV copy of the Stanford game, and you could tell they were going on a silent cadence, and they had some issues with crowd noise. So it's a hostile environment. I told our players expect it to be a lot like what the Utah State crowd was like, except just ramp it up a little bit. This is a big game. They've won 3 in a row, and they're feeling good, and it's going to be a really fun college football environment.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yep.
Awesome. That's all from us. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.